Hi, and welcome to Waypoints Equity video series. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the blog post, what every new investor should think about as they're getting into syndication. So I just wanted to accompany that blog with a couple of tips and some other information that I have when I think about those of you who are interested in multifamily investing, but you don't really know where to begin. And I do get asked quite often, for resources and references. So first I want to just say, there's so much information out there and sometimes it can be overwhelming. Really, what I recommend is defining your goals in general. Where do you want to go? What are you trying to get out of this? Are you looking for passive income? Are you looking for, an alternative source to retirement or to pay for kids' college? Or you just, need a hobby and you want to get into real estate investing? There's so many opportunities and so much that you can do with that. So first it is a journey, and educating yourself is part of the fun. So what I would say is do your research. I have on this blog post, I have a couple references that I've noted here. I also was recently a guest on a podcast where myself and Ruben Greth went through a huge list of references for folks who want to get into the syndication side of real estate investing and multifamily investing. And I will leave the link for that in the blog as well, if you want to watch me and Ruben talk through just a huge list of resources. But to not overwhelm you, I wanted to kind of break down a couple things here as well. And I'll go through some books, do a little book review here at the end. The other thing, that I would say is, if you are starting to learn and get into this, ask questions, and there are no stupid questions. For 20 years, I was 100% a stock market investor and really just had a couple strong epiphanies that opened my eyes finally to the benefits of investing in another medium, which for me is real estate. And, I think there's a lot of value there as well. So connect with other investors. You can do this through so many different ways. There's different forums out there. You can have a local, small group. I have two different masterminds that I run. One is for professional women multifamily investors, and the other is for military members who are getting into multifamily investing. And if you don't fall any of those categories, contact me and we can definitely fit you in somewhere. I know of some other groups and we can even start something else. I do have my Calendly link here. I would love to connect one-on-one and just find out where you fit and what your goals are, and how I can help you move forward. Other things to think about, like look at previous deals, look at other deals that are out there that may already be in operation. And just start to kind of dive through. I remember for myself, the first time I saw a true pro forma, the forecasted financials for a very large 300 unit property, it really opened my eyes. Having come from a Fortune 500 engineering company as a project manager, it was really similar to what I had done. However, this was a different level where I could personally have a role and drive my investment, my money into a deal like this and one of my choosing. So I mentioned in the beginning, define your criteria. And that could be if you have a cash on cash or an ROI criteria, those type of things, or a time frame. If you want to get into a deal that is going to be a long-term hold, there are those for sure. If you're looking for higher returns and more risk, you can look into some value add deals that have the potential of returning all of your capital at a cash out refinance in the future as well. And then my other advice is, take your time. I see so many deals come through and you get a lot of information from folks that are putting them together. And they always are kind of pushing, there's a window of time that you're allowed to subscribe and invest. And sometimes they do fill up quickly in terms of, the number of investors that they can take on a deal. if it passes you by, that is okay. There are always other deals. There are always other people out there who are trying to put together deals and find investors and make big things happen. So don't let that, don't feed into that rush, is what I'm trying to say. You should take your time and make sure that you feel comfortable with the operator, comfortable with the market, the strategy, and the property, and then and then dive in. Really is about getting educated and getting that comfort level. So I wanted to take a minute here and do a little bit of a book review. On one of these videos, I will be telling my story. For those who haven't heard it, I have been on a couple podcasts and have spoken a little bit about how I got here. So I'm not going to go into that quite yet, but this links in because the first book that I'm going to recommend is Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And there's a little bit of a story with this actual particular book for me. I recently found this in an old pile, and it was given to me and my siblings by my father in December of 2000. I don't think you can see this. Oh, there you go. He wrote this big old note in there, and it really kind of hits home to what we're trying to do here at Waypoints Equity and just the path in general. And so I'm going to read it, and just imagine your own father trying to give you some advice. It says, "To my children from your poor dad," hence the Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Love, December 2000. Some good advice in this book. Start early and put your money to work for you so you don't have to work so hard when you are old. Keep the right attitude towards money. It is just a tool to make life easier. Wait until you can pay cash for luxuries that are really just liabilities or expenses that you can live without. And then at least early in life, love, WLM, my dad. So that's super cool. For so many reasons that was in there. And it's 2021 right now. He wrote that 21 years ago. I read this book at that point, and incidentally, yesterday, for some reason, I was going through, I have this huge stack of old journals, like high school journals, things I probably don't want my kids to read. And I was debating whether or not to get rid of them. And I found this super awesome giraffe journal. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. So I flipped it open. And this is like my financial planner from 2001, January 2001. So immediately after my dad gave me this book, this is my budget. It has like $27 for gas and $7 for beer. I can't believe I wrote this all down. Their spreadsheets were invented. But anyways, second page, I've got notes from Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And probably in my best handwriting ever, it's very like militant. Here, all capital letters. I have all of these points from the book. And then I even did like line diagrams. And essentially the takeaway is you have assets and liabilities. You want to turn your assets into something that make more assets, and then, reduce your liabilities and find a way to get your income to work for you and not get taxed so heavy. And so, I've got like pages and pages of notes of this book that I took, but I never put that into practice really until, 2019. And so now I'm playing catch up a little bit, but I thought that was really interesting. If you haven't read the book, it's got some pretty simple, straightforward tips. Other books I recommend, start with Why by Simon Sinek. Really good about just figuring out your why and your goals. Other ones you hear a lot of, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. This one I don't think is quite as recognized, but Financial Freedom, What Wall Street Isn't Telling You. This is by Mark Kohler, who is the lawyer who runs both KKOS law firm as well as K&E CPAs. So they're my lawyer and my accountants. And he does a really good job breaking down some pretty dry stuff into stories that are relevant in terms of kind of taking control of your finances. This book is phenomenal for passive investors, folks who want to invest in multifamily properties and investments without having to be the one that gets the call about the water main breaking. It's called The Hands-Off Investor. It's by Brian Burke, who has decades of industry experience, and has done both the active syndication as well as the passive investments. The Best Apartment Syndication Book Ever by Joe Fairless is phenomenal. It's a tome, got a couple bookmarks in there, and it just talks you through how to actually syndicate if that's your goal, as does Michael Blanc's book, The Financial Freedom with Real Estate Investing. And then, finally, a classic, I would say, a staple is The Millionaire Real Estate Investor by Gary Keller of the Keller Williams fame. So that's a little bit of a book review. I do have quite the bookshelf. I picked through it just quickly to provide a couple books. There's also many, many podcasts that you can start with. I started with Bigger Pockets and started single family investing in single family rentals. And that was eye-opening to me. And then quickly realized I wanted to scale and change the direction of my life, leave my corporate job, which was a phenomenal job, but I really wanted to drive and create this business. And so that's why I made the switch to multifamily. But anyways, I hope that was helpful. There's a lot of information out there. If at any time you want to talk through any of this or have any questions, please do hit me up on my calendar, schedule a call, and we can discuss where you are and what your goals are. And other than that, I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you later.